Hey gang, just your friendly local mad scientist, checking in here with ya. Alright, now, given the current fascination with unidentified flying objects, I thought it'd be a good time to visit the subject, including related subjects like the possibility of extraterrestrial life, aliens visiting Earth, military technology, and extraterrestrial spacecraft. However, it's not uncommon for conspiracy theorists, enthusiasts, and UFOlogists to confuse or combine these concepts, connecting imaginary dots. Thus, it's essential to establish clear definitions of our terms. What exactly do we mean by a UFO? While it may appear straightforward, defining the term is crucial. An unidentified flying object, UFO, is any object in the sky that is not recognized or identified, encompassing a variety of phenomena such as meteors, satellites, birds, aircraft, lights, drones. The likelihood of each of these being mistaken for a UFO can change depending on different factors like where you are, what time of day it is, and what the weather's like. We've probably all seen them. If I throw a frisbee across a field and you see it in the corner of your eye or film it, you just witnessed a UFO from your perspective. A drone that I've added extra flashy lights to can likewise easily become another UFO in the clouds. UFOs have been reported since ancient times, when such sightings were often interpreted as signs from the gods, while in more recent times they've been associated with extraterrestrial beings. However, it is likely that many of these sightings were simply natural phenomena that were not understood by the people who observed them. Comets, meteors, shooting stars, and asteroids have been documented and observed since ancient times, and they were often interpreted as supernatural or divine events. The lack of scientific understanding and technological advancement in ancient times made it difficult for people to explain or comprehend these events, leading to their association with supernatural or extraterrestrial phenomena. Despite popular belief, most UFO sightings can be explained by natural or human causes. However, investigating and identifying these sightings can reveal valuable information about their capabilities and purpose, including whether they have military or civilian applications. Categorizing UFO sightings allows us to understand their significance and gain an insight into their potential use. For example, a recent sighting involved a satellite from China, which was initially classified as a UFO and later identified and no longer considered a mystery. Yet there are still some UFO sightings that remain unexplained, fueling conspiracy theories and public curiosity. Therefore, while it is important to remain open-minded and explore all possibilities, it is also essential to approach UFO sightings with a scientific and rational mindset, rather than jumping to conclusions about their origins. The U.S. intelligence community's unclassified report on UFOs has identified 5 categories of unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs. These categories include random airborne clutter, which covers natural airborne objects such as birds, natural atmospheric phenomena, which includes weather-related phenomena like lightning, defense prototypes from USG or U.S. industry development programs, which would cover military technology developed by the U.S. government and private industry, foreign adversary systems, which include spy balloons or other foreign government technology, and finally an other bin for everything else that does not fit into the previous categories, such as human misunderstandings or hoaxes. Beliefs about UFOs have changed over time, influenced by social changes, scientific discoveries, and technological advances. However, these beliefs often involve pseudoscience, so it is important to study UFOs using an empirical, objective approach that involves gathering evidence and ruling out mundane explanations before considering extraterrestrial possibilities. While there's no conclusive evidence proving or disproving the existence of extraterrestrial life, there are many plausible explanations for UAPs and UFO sightings that are supported by scientific evidence. Therefore, a scientific approach is necessary to better understand UFOs. That being said, let's take a look at the actual probability of alien life in the universe. The existence of life in the universe is a question that has long fascinated humanity. Earth, as the only planet known to harbor life, is proof that it is possible. The vastness of the universe, not to mention the possibility of a multiverse beyond it, suggests that life is a statistical inevitability. Since the Big Bang, the universe has contained the necessary building blocks for the creation of life and consciousness. Any part of the universe that can support it will have life, and we are just a tiny part of that vast expanse. In short, the existence of life in the universe is not just possible, but highly probable. Part of the difficulty in searching for life of any sort is that scientists don't always agree on how life started in the first place, or what even life is. The geneticist Edward Trivanoff defined life as self-reproduction with variations. NASA's working definition for life is a self-sustaining chemical system capable of Darwinian evolution. Astrobiology is a field of research focused on finding evidence of extraterrestrial life. One approach is to search for chemical biosignatures, which are molecules or combination of molecules that could indicate the presence of life. However, scientists are cautious about relying solely on Earth-like biosignatures as a way to identify life elsewhere in the universe. This is because life as we know it on Earth requires certain conditions, such as liquid water and a stable atmosphere, which may not be present on other planets. Therefore, scientists are exploring other possibilities, such as the chemical building blocks of life in interstellar clouds, and broadening their search to include different types of planets and other forms of life. Despite the challenges, astrobiology researchers continue to seek for evidence of extraterrestrial life by searching for these biosignatures. One approach is to look for Earth-like planets with the conditions necessary to support life as we know it. Another approach is to consider how life might have evolved differently on other planets with different environments. By examining the chemical composition of different environments, including interstellar clouds and other planets, researchers hope to find clues that might help them identify life beyond Earth. Overall, the search for extraterrestrial life is a complex and ongoing effort that requires creative thinking and a willingness to consider all possibilities. The vastness of the cosmos is beyond our imagination, as the universe is estimated to host 100 billion trillion stars, most of which have planets revolving around them. In our Milky Way galaxy, there could be hundreds of billions of planets, possibly more, and it is suggested that the number of planets is at least equal to the number of stars in the galaxy, meaning that there could be at least 100 billion alien planets in the Milky Way. This means there could be hundreds of billions of exoplanets, with possibly 1 in 4 stars having an Earth-sized planet. In 1995, the first exoplanet was discovered orbiting the star 51 Pegasi, 50 light-years from Earth. As of March 2023, there are more than 4,600 confirmed exoplanets in our galaxy. Most of these were discovered by the Kepler Space Telescope. Keeping in mind, this is a matter of speculation, and the existence of advanced life is not supported by any evidence we have. The conditions necessary for the emergence of life are not yet fully understood, and the likelihood of advanced life emerging on a given planet is difficult to estimate. We have a growing yet infinitely limited knowledge of the characteristics and distribution of planets in other galaxies. The vastness of the cosmos makes it unlikely that we will ever be able to communicate with other intelligent life forms from other galaxies. While single-celled organisms are believed to exist throughout the universe, it is much harder to prove the existence of human-like, technologically advanced life forms. However, ongoing efforts such as the SETI program provide hope that they may one day find evidence of life elsewhere in the cosmos. Despite astronomers identifying Earth-sized planets orbiting stars near our own, there is no evidence of aliens having landed on Earth, and scientists are not actively searching for UFOs. The size and age of the universe, combined with our growing understanding of the necessary conditions for life, strongly suggest that we are not alone. Further exploration and research are required to determine whether or not we are the only intelligent life in the universe. Nevertheless, the search for life beyond Earth is an essential scientific endeavor that could unravel the mysteries of the cosmos and our place in it, and remains an awesome pursuit. The search for extraterrestrial life is focused on finding planets that have conditions similar to Earth, including the presence of liquid water and a stable environment to support life. Methods used to detect extraterrestrial civilizations rely on identifying specific electromagnetic radiation and changes in the luminosity of stars. Potentially habitable planets have been identified within the Milky Way based on their proximity to their planet star and the presence of water or other essential factors. However, even with these discoveries, any potential communication or travel between our planet and others is limited by vast distances. The universe is incredibly vast, and the distance between stars and planets are measured in light years, which is the distance that light travels in a year. The Canis Major Dwarf Galaxy is the closest known galaxy to our Milky Way, with a distance of approximately 25,000 light years away. With our current technology, we're not able to even travel that fraction of a light speed. But even if we could travel at light speed, it would take us 25,000 years to reach the galaxy. The Alpha Centauri system is the nearest star system to our own, located about 4.37 light years or 25 trillion miles away. Traveling at the speed of light, it would take over 4 years to reach it. The system has our closest known exoplanet neighbor, Proxima Centauri b, which orbits Proxima Centauri, the closest star to our Sun. Proxima b is just one of many potentially habitable exoplanets that astronomers have discovered so far, and it is likely that many more are waiting to be detected. Again, noting that while such planets offer intriguing possibilities for alien life, there is no definitive evidence yet that any of them actually harbor life. For decades, scientists have been searching tirelessly for alien life and signs of their existence, such as advanced technology and telecommunication signals. Unfortunately, even if such signs were detected, the vast distances between planets would make real-time communication impossible. Any message sent to a planet light years away would take years, if not centuries, to reach its destination and be received. Consequently, any meaningful communication or interaction would be incredibly challenging, if not impossible. The search for extraterrestrial life has been ongoing, and scientists have been exploring different methods to find evidence of its existence. However, one of the hypotheses is that our current tools and methods may not be sufficient to find extraterrestrial life. So scientists need to find new ways to use existing tools or create new ones. Even with the advances in technology, the vast distances between Earth and other potentially habitable planets make it highly unlikely that we will ever make contact with extraterrestrial life. Numerous scientific groups are currently exploring the cosmos for alien life, including SETI, NASA, European Space Agency, Harvard Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, and the Carl Sagan Institute at Cornell University. In the event that evidence of extraterrestrial life is discovered, it may not necessarily be intelligent life that is capable of building spaceships or communicating with us. The universe is vast and full of surprises, and while the possibility of alien life is exciting, it is essential to be realistic about the challenges and limitations of exploring the cosmos. Therefore, scientists must continue their search for extraterrestrial life while also acknowledging the constraints of current technology and the vastness of the universe. Those who are exploring the cosmos for alien life have a very grounded and realistic perspective on the subject. It is the search for extraterrestrial life as we don't know it. Scientists from various fields work together to investigate the possibility of extraterrestrial life using rigorous scientific methods and sophisticated instruments. Astronomers use telescopes to search for exoplanets that could potentially support life, while astrobiologists study the conditions necessary for life to exist and thrive. Biologists examine the potential biochemistry for extraterrestrial life, and chemists analyze the composition of planets and moons in the solar system to search for signs of life. Physicists also play a role in understanding the conditions necessary for life to exist, as well as developing new technologies to aid in the search for extraterrestrial life. Collaboration between these different fields is essential to understanding and advancing the possibility of life beyond Earth. Scientists who search for extraterrestrial life are dedicated to their quest and are committed to sharing their findings openly with other scientists for scrutiny and review. The search for extraterrestrial life has already led to significant advances in scientific knowledge and technology, and continues to push the boundaries of human understanding, inspiring new ideas and new approaches to scientific inquiry. The The pursuit of alien life is an important and worthwhile endeavor that brings together passionate and brilliant scientists from a variety of fields, and their coordinated efforts are likely to lead to further discoveries in the future. The quest for knowledge and comprehension of humanity's role in the universe serves as a common bond that unites scientific communities worldwide. Of course, there are conspiracy theorists, UFO enthusiasts, ufologists, and others who falsely assert that scientists are part of a worldwide plot to cover up the existence of extraterrestrial beings and their spacecraft. Such claims are entirely unfounded, as scientists have no motive to conceal such groundbreaking discoveries. Those who propagate such ideas only highlight their lack of knowledge and disregard for scientific principles, which undermines the search for truth. Their notions are not only baseless, but also run counter to the scientific community's dedication to exploring the unknown and expanding our understanding of the cosmos. It is highly unlikely that vastly superior aliens who possess advanced technology and the ability to travel light years to Earth would go through that trouble only to conceal their presence from humans. More importantly, the idea that human governments could censor or hide advanced alien technology and intelligence is absurd. The vast distance involved in space travel, as well as the technological sophistication required for such a journey, makes it improbable that a human government could limit communication with the public. That belief that such oppression is possible underestimates the enormous challenges involved in space travel and the advanced technology the extraterrestrials would have to have. It is absurd to believe that highly advanced extraterrestrial beings would travel all this way only to be suppressed by a global conspiracy of humans. You ever see the classic 80s miniseries V with Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger? In that show, the aliens take over all forms of communication across the planet, broadcasting in every language around the planet. Seems easy enough if they've been monitoring us or are so advanced, right?
Just don't.
Hey, somebody's pulled AT&T right out from under us. The whole damn network's off the air.
It's ironic that some people believe that aliens can travel to Earth but can't reveal themselves because of human government intervention. Those who believe in alien contact assume that they have advanced technology and intelligence capable of traveling long distances through space. This implies that they can easily make contact with humans if they wanted to. However, those who believe that aliens are being prevented from revealing themselves by human governments are suggesting that these powerful beings are somehow powerless against our inferior institutions. It seems weird that highly advanced alien beings would be incapable of overcoming our deficient technology or would allow themselves to be constrained by human governments when they possess such superior abilities. Either aliens are clever enough to travel all this way and communicate, or they're not. Human capabilities and intentions shouldn't matter that much if they're so far advanced. Perhaps alien visitation is more of a fantasy than a reality. As Arthur C. Clarke said, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. The same is likely true for even our own advancements as human beings. Our own tiny little planet has isolated indigenous tribes that have had limited or no contact with the modern world. These uncontacted tribes live in remote areas such as rainforests, deserts, and islands. Due to their isolation, they have developed their own cultures, languages, and traditions, which have remained largely unchanged for thousands of years. It's important to respect their isolation and avoid contact with them, because they can be vulnerable to diseases that they have no immunity to, which can lead to devastating consequences for their populations. As remote as these tribes are, aliens are much further away. The reason there is no evidence of alien life having interacted with humans on Earth is most likely that such interactions have not yet occurred. As Arthur C. Clarke cautioned, advanced technology can be perplexing to those unfamiliar with it, making it easy to misinterpret what we are seeing. Consequently, we are left to ponder the origin of the UFOs and UAPs that frequently appear in the news. If not aliens, what can explain these confusing sights? Let's take a look. Isaac Asimov warned, "The saddest aspect of life right now is that science gathers knowledge faster than society gathers wisdom." Asimov was cautioning that while scientific knowledge and advancements are rapidly increasing, society's ability to understand, apply, and make responsible decisions based on this knowledge is lagging behind. The military possesses advanced technology that is often classified, and the public may not have a complete understanding of its capabilities or potential consequences. If people witnessed unexplained flying objects, they may jump to conclusions that they are alien spacecraft without considering other plausible explanations. This could lead to misunderstandings and even panic, which highlights the need for responsible reporting and analysis of such sightings. During 1896 to 1897, sightings of unusual flying objects were reported in the western U.S. by eyewitnesses such as farmers, ranchers, and local newspapers. These mystery airships, also called phantom airships, were probably the result of a mix of factors, including misidentification, hoaxes, and mass hysteria. The interest in aviation fueled speculation and rumors about unusual sightings in the sky, but many of the reported airships were likely known objects mistaken for something else. The media could have sensationalized the reports for sales, and mass hysteria may have led to unusual sightings being interpreted as evidence of the mystery airships. In the early 20th century, sightings of strange flying objects were believed to be the result of secret military experiments or weather phenomena. However, after World War II, the number of UFO sightings increased, leading some to believe that they were evidence of extraterrestrial life visiting Earth. The space race and Cold War fueled public interest in space exploration and the possibility of contact with other worlds. During the 1950s and 60s, prominent UFO researchers such as J. Allen Hynek and Stanton Friedman emerged, creating a subculture of believers who viewed the government and mainstream science as covering up evidence of extraterrestrial contact. These researchers and believers often relied on pseudoscientific methods, such as anecdotal evidence and unverified eyewitness testimony, to support their claims. However, many reports of UFO and alien sightings may be influenced by expectations created by stereotypes and caricatures perpetrated by science fiction movies, TV shows, and streaming media. On October 30th, 1938, Orson Welles presented a radio adaptation of H.G. Wells' novel War of the Worlds on CBS Radio Network. The broadcast was designed to be a news bulletin and announced a Martian invasion occurring in New Jersey. Many listeners believed it to be a real news broadcast, causing panic to spread throughout the country. The newspapers, which were competing with radio for providing news and advertising, amplified the story, increasing the panic. While it is disputed how widespread the panic was, the War of the Worlds broadcast remains historically significant and had a lasting impact on broadcasting and media. The prevalence of UFO sightings can be attributed to several factors, including military technology, radar misreadings, human misinterpretation, and natural phenomena, such as St. Elmo's fire and ball lightning. During World War II, pilots reported strange lights and glowing objects, later identified as St. Elmo's fire, and similar sightings were reported by the Associated Press in December 1944, known as the Foo Fighter sightings. Even old military technology can be mistaken for extraterrestrial spacecraft, as seen in the Phoenix Lights incidents, in which military flares dropping during a training exercise were reported as a large V-shaped craft hovering over Arizona. Ball lightning, also known as fireballs and ghost lights, have spooked skywatchers for hundreds of years. St. Elmo's fire is sometimes mistaken for ball lightning. Among other differences, ball lightning can drift along like a soap bubble, while St. Elmo's fire always remains attached to an object. The orbs mostly appear during thunderstorms, but can also form inside aircraft and even closed rooms. And the globe-like structures can decay silently or explode loudly, producing rancid odors in their wake. Good thing this video is about UFOs and not ghosts, because that's kind of spooky. Given the government's past involvement in classified testing programs, such as spy satellites, stealth fighters, the Manhattan Project, and Project Blue Book, it is understandable why citizens are skeptical of their government's transparency regarding their activities, especially when it comes to military technology and weaponry. Many reported UFO sightings can be attributed to radar and technology misinterpretations. Radars can pick up unusual signals that are not necessarily extraterrestrial spacecraft, but rather a misreading of technology. Similarly, humans can misinterpret natural phenomena such as ball lightning, stars, or other atmospheric phenomena as UFOs. Our brain's inclination to identify patterns and create meaning from unfamiliar situations can also result in a misinterpretation and misperceptions, particularly when the object being observed is unfamiliar or poorly understood. This tendency can explain many UAP and UFO sightings, and it's important to consider all possible explanations before jumping to conclusions about extraterrestrial life. It is common for many UFO sightings to have an explanation rooted in the U.S. military's testing of advanced technology and drones. The military has a long history of conducting classified tests of experimental aircraft, often in remote or restricted areas. While necessary for developing new technologies, these tests contribute to the secrecy and mystery surrounding the military's advanced programs. Some of these aircraft possess highly advanced capabilities, making maneuvers not possible with conventional aircraft. When civilians witness these aircraft, they may appear as strange or inexplicable objects in the sky. Classified tests of experimental aircraft can be traced back to World War II, where several countries developed and tested advanced aircraft designs in secret, leading to the development of the UFO mythos. Germany's focus on advanced technology during World War II had a significant impact on science and warfare, resulting in new innovations such as weapons of mass destruction and the atomic bomb. Pioneering scientists like Werner von Braun and Werner Heisenberg contributed to these advancements, including the development of the V-2 rocket, which was a significant breakthrough in rocket technology that would later influence space exploration programs. During the war, some V-2 rocket launches were mistaken for UFO sightings by Allied pilots and civilians. Alexander Martin Lippisch was a German aeronautical engineer who made significant contributions to aircraft design during the 1920s and 30s. He is known for his pioneering work on delta wing aircraft, which were named after the Greek delta letter because of its triangular shape. The delta wing configuration was designed to achieve high-speed flight with reduced drag coefficient. Lippisch began experimenting with delta-winged aircraft designs as early as the 1920s, and his flying wing designs often had the significant triangular appearance, such as the Lippisch DM-1 glider. The Lippisch P-13A was also a tailless triangular winged aircraft designed for high speed and maneuverability, with a flattened top and bottom, a domed cockpit, and rounded body. Lippisch also designed the experimental Lippisch Delta IV aircraft to explore the use of a tailless delta-winged aircraft for vertical takeoff and landing. The aircraft had a unique triangular shape. The new technology and designs made the uniquely shaped aircraft prone for misunderstanding. The silhouette of a delta disc could appear as a dark triangle, and its lights as an illuminated V shape, which have been seen in numerous UFO sightings. Reports of V-shaped, arrowhead-like, and triangular UFOs have been common for decades, with many sightings reported in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s across the United States and around the world. The 1960s, in particular, saw a surge in reports of mysterious flying triangles over Connecticut, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Texas, London, Madrid, and Czechoslovakia. The National UFO Reporting Center has recovered over 8,100 sightings of triangular-shaped UFOs since the early 1960s, with over 200 reported in the first half of 2020 alone. The U.S. military conducts classified tests of experimental aircraft in remote or restricted areas to evaluate new technologies, test new equipment, and develop new tactics and strategies for military operations. The development of experimental aircraft could potentially explain many UFO sightings, particularly those that coincide with the testing of new aircraft technologies. The timing and descriptions of some UFO sightings over the decades since the early 1940s align with the development and testing of experimental aircraft. It is possible that some of the sightings attributed to UFOs could be explained by secret military aircraft tests. The flying disc craze of the 1940s was the start of a UFO phenomenon that continued to boom into the 1950s and still exists to this day. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union were experimenting with advanced aircraft designs that could fly at high speeds and high altitudes, such as the U-2 spy plane and the MiG-25 interceptor. The development of these advanced aircraft coincided with reports of UFO sightings in the United States during the 1940s and 50s, and later in the 1980s and 90s. The sightings were linked to the development and testing of experimental aircraft like the B-2 stealth bomber and the F-117 Nighthawk. Both countries conducted their tests in secret using classified tests and restricted airspace. One of the most famous U.S. aircraft designs of the Cold War era was the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, a high-speed, high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft developed in the 1960s. Only a select group of engineers, pilots, and government officials were aware of its existence. The SR-71 Blackbird had a distinctive shape with a long, pointed nose and a sleek black body. When flying at high altitude, it could leave a long, white contrail behind, which could be mistaken for a UFO by observers on the ground. Furthermore, the existence of the Aurora triangular jet with top speeds of Mach 6, believed to be the hypersonic successor to the SR-71 Blackbird, has been revealed in a UK Defense Ministry report on UFOs. The US officials have never acknowledged the project, and the UK government has routinely denied it. These experimental aircraft were often tested in remote or classified locations and undergo flight testing at night or during adverse weather conditions. This could explain why so many UFO sightings occur under similar circumstances. The bright lights, strange shapes, and unusual flight patterns of these aircraft could easily be mistaken for extraterrestrial spacecraft by witnesses who are not familiar with the aviation technology. These aircraft were often shrouded in secrecy, and their existence was not publicly acknowledged by the military or government agencies for many years. Overall, while experimental aircraft do not provide a complete explanation for all UFO sightings, they do offer a plausible scientific explanation for many sightings that may have been misidentified by witnesses as extraterrestrial by nature. In the late 1940s, tension between the US and the USSR were high, and both countries were engaged in a Cold War that involved a great deal of espionage and covert operations. The emergence in 1947 of the Cold War confrontation between the US and Soviet Union also saw the first wave of UFO sightings. On June 24, 1947, while flying his plane near Mount Rainier in Washington State, private pilot Kenneth Arnold described 9 disc-shaped objects moving at an unprecedented speed over 1,000 miles per hour. The incident attracted widespread media attention and fueled public interest in the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Media reports on the sightings marked the first time the term flying saucer or flying disc was used to describe unidentified flying objects in the United States. Arnold's detailed account of the objects' movement and appearance, coupled with the media's coverage, played a significant role in shaping popular perceptions of UFOs and their potential connection to extraterrestrial life. Although the objects Arnold witnessed were never officially identified, his report and the subsequent media frenzy helped create and sustain the UFO culture that persists to this day. The resemblance between the Lippisch Delta IV and the flying saucers reported by Arnold is striking, and it is likely that numerous sightings were misidentified test flights of Lippisch's experimental aircraft. It is easy to see how such unique capabilities and shape would easily fuel an emerging UFO conspiracy. Soon after the Kenneth Arnold sighting of flying discs came a reported UFO crash in New Mexico, which added to the mystery that July. Around the 4th of July 1947, during a severe thunderstorm, a UFO was reported to have crashed in the desert of Roswell, New Mexico. The U.S. military quickly responded to the incident and retrieved the wreckage. The debris was transported to Fort Worth Army Airfield in Texas, where military experts proclaimed it was from a crashed weather balloon. However, the public information officer at the base issued a news release stating the U.S. Army Air Force had recovered a flying saucer at the ranch. While military brass quickly retracted the statement, it was too late. The legend of Roswell had begun. The Roswell incident of 1947 was revealed to be related to Project Mogul, a top-secret operation conducted by the U.S. Air Force to detect sound waves from Soviet nuclear bomb tests using microphones attached to high-altitude balloons. The project ran from 1947 until 1949 and involved collaboration between various government agencies, including the Office of Naval Research and the CIA. The debris found near Roswell, which included smashed balloons, sensors, and radar reflectors made of balsa wood and thin metal foil, was quickly whisked away by the Air Force. The metal in the debris was polyethylene coated with aluminum, which was a peculiar novelty at the time. Another theory suggests that the U.S. military might have shot down a Soviet aircraft over the U.S. while it was conducting surveillance. The context of the period was characterized by a covert intelligence war, and the Soviet Union and U.S. tensions were high. The recovered debris was consistent with materials used in Soviet aircraft, including balsa wood and polyethylene. This theory posits that the Roswell incident was a cover-up for a downed Soviet craft. The U.S. military may have covered up the Roswell incident to hide the fact that the Soviet Union was able to conduct espionage operations in U.S. airspace. The explanation of a weather balloon may have been used to avoid admitting the Soviets' ability to penetrate U.S. airspace and evade escalating tensions with the Soviet Union. While no conclusive evidence supports this theory, it is a plausible explanation based on the historical context and the known activities of both countries at the time. The cover-up of the events surrounding Project Mogul has led to conspiracy theories and enduring interest in UFO mythology among enthusiasts. Today, Roswell has embraced his UFO mythology and become a hub for flying saucerism. The town boasts a UFO museum, alien-themed streetlights, and even a McDonald's inspired by flying saucers. The incident in Roswell was just one of many reported sightings following the news of Kenneth Arnold's flying saucers. Despite being a minor event in reconnaissance history, the crash marked the beginning of UFO mythology and created a lasting impact that continues to spark interest and speculation to this day. Aside from Roswell, another location that has become the center of UFO lore is Area 51. Also known as Paradise Ranch or Watertown, is a remote testing site located northwest of Las Vegas, where the U.S. government has conducted secret tests on experimental aircraft and advanced technology since the 1950s. The site's secrecy has led to numerous UFO sightings, with many people mistaking the advanced aircraft for extraterrestrial crafts. In 2013, the CIA declassified documents that officially acknowledged the existence of Area 51, revealing that it was a testing site used to develop advanced aircraft during the Cold War, including the U-2 spy plane and Oxcart programs. The U.S. government had previously released a redacted version of the document in 1998, but did not officially acknowledge the existence of the site until 2013. Despite the popular belief that Area 51 was a site for extraterrestrial life or flying saucers, it was actually a military testing site for advanced aircraft. During the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union developed high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft that could reach altitudes up to 60,000 feet or more, making them invisible to most radar systems. The U.S. used Area 51 to develop advanced aircraft such as the U-2, A-12 reconnaissance plane, and stealth fighter F-117 Nighthawk. The U-2 is primarily used by the CIA and the U.S. Air Force to gather intelligence on enemy territories and monitor nuclear weapons tests, due to its ability to fly at extreme altitudes and sophisticated equipment that allowed it to capture detailed photographs and electronic emissions data. The unusual shapes and high speeds of these aircraft often led to them being mistaken for UFOs, which led to numerous sightings in the areas where they were tested. The development of these advanced aircraft at Area 51 played a crucial role in the Cold War and the arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union. On May 1, 1960, A U.S. U-2 spy plane, piloted by Francis Gary Powers, was shot down over the Soviet Union during a reconnaissance mission, leading to increased tensions between the United States and the Soviet Union during the Cold War. This incident was a significant setback for U.S. intelligence gathering efforts and highlighted the dangers of using manned aircraft for surveillance missions in hostile airspace. Despite this setback, the U-2 was heavily utilized by the U.S. for reconnaissance missions during the Cold War, including during the Cuban Missile Crisis, where they confirmed the existence of Soviet nuclear-armed missiles in Cuba. These events, along with the development of high-altitude reconnaissance aircraft such as the U-2 and SR-71 at Area 51, have contributed to the mythology surrounding both Area 51 and supposed UFO sightings in that area. The purpose of the secrecy surrounding Area 51 was to prevent the Soviet Union from gaining information about advanced aircraft, not to cover up supposed alien encounters. Area 51 is a highly secretive facility, with each department working independently, which is crucial to maintaining secrecy, but also fuels rumors and curiosity among insiders and outsiders. The lack of transparency leads to paranoia and distrust. The U.S. government has acknowledged the existence of Area 51 and has given some information about its operations. Officials and former employees have confirmed that the site is used for testing military planes. The testing of experimental aircraft continues today, and many governments conduct these tests in secret with the aim of developing advanced technologies. The details of these tests are typically kept confidential, and information about them is often not released until years or decades later. Nearly all of the videos we see from the government look odd to the general public because the technology in which it is being recorded on is also classified and built for specific purposes unknown to the general public. While the military won't explain everything for obvious security reasons, it feels no obligations to explain computer glitches or the like to people fearing invasions from extraterrestrials. Infrared sensing video and night vision can sometimes capture images that are difficult to interpret without proper training and context. Clearly, it can even be confusing for some with training. Seeing an odd-shaped object flashing on video may be a UFO because the object isn't absolutely known, but it sure doesn't make it an alien craft. The Go Fast video, also known as the Tic Tac UFO sighting, was taken by a U.S. Navy FA-18 Super Hornet in 2015, showing an unidentified object moving rapidly over the ocean's surface. While some have suggested that the object could be a man-made object, such as a drone or experimental aircraft, others believe that the apparent high-speed movement is an illusion created by the two-dimensional nature of the video. The F-18 Super Hornet's changing position relative to the object could alter its apparent position and movement, leading some experts to consider the object as something as simple as a weather balloon or unmanned drone being tested. The gimbal UAP video, captured in January 2015 over the Atlantic Ocean, shows an object that appears to rotate in a way that is inconsistent with known aircraft. However, some experts have suggested that the object may be an optical illusion caused by a combination of factors, including the parallax effect, bokeh, or glare on the camera lens, or errors in the software or hardware components of the system. Another theory suggests that the object could be an unmanned drone being tested.
Dude, this is a fucking drone, bro.
Therefore, while the gimbal UAP video may be intriguing, it's important also to consider all possibilities. Regardless, faulty radar readings are also a common explanation for UFO sightings. In some cases, radar operators may misinterpret the signals they are receiving, leading to false readings of unknown objects in the sky. This was the case in the famous 1952 Washington, D.C. UFO incident. While many feared it was advanced aircraft from Russia, radar experts theorized that the culprit was a temperature inversion, when warm air sits atop cooler air, trapping it in. This can invert radar, causing it to bounce off that ceiling and make objects on the ground appear in the sky. Even debris and ice particles have caused some ufologists to get excited. The STS-80 Columbia incident in 1996 is an example of how debris and ice crystals can create an illusion of UFOs. During the mission, video footage captured several bright, seemingly intelligent lights that appeared to be moving in an organized manner. However, upon further analysis of the video, it was determined that these lights were likely created by debris and ice crystals in the camera's field of view. The tether incident happened on February 25, 1996. During Space Shuttle Columbia STS-75's mission, NASA astronauts were monitoring a satellite breaking off from the Space Shuttle Columbia. When they were filming the satellite, it appeared to be swarmed by hundreds of ring-shaped UFOs. It turned out these UFOs were nothing more than ice crystals floating ahead of and around the shuttle. Down on Earth, it is stealth technology that likely explains why operators can often not see or recognize objects in their radar. Stealth crafts use irregular flat surfaces such as the B-52 bomber and radar-absorbing materials on their exterior to scramble radar. It is possible that some of these aircraft are from foreign countries, not extraterrestrial, and could be used for collecting intelligence or testing military vehicles. It is also possible that government agencies are creating and testing these technologies. In any event, it would be wise for the government to keep such information out of the daily news. Advancements in technology have led to the development of unmanned vehicles, such as drones, that are faster and safer than traditional manned systems. These vehicles are designed with lightweight construction, powerful engines, and advanced aerodynamics, enabling them to reach incredible speeds that exceed the sound barrier. Unmanned vehicles have numerous advantages, such as remote operation, advanced sensors, imaging technologies, and real-time situational awareness, which makes them ideal for military and commercial applications. The fastest drones in existence are military-grade UAVs, capable of reaching speeds over 600 miles per hour, with even faster and more capable drones expected to emerge as technology continues to advance. The advent of unmanned vehicles has ushered in a new era of aerospace and military technology, providing safer and more efficient military operations. With higher degrees of autonomy, unmanned vehicles can operate independently, making faster decisions and increasing mission endurance and range. Unmanned vehicles are expected to play a significant role in future military and commercial operations, with applications ranging from reconnaissance to combat operations, commercial deliveries, and scientific research. As technology continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more sophisticated unmanned vehicles that can perform increasingly complex missions with greater speed, accuracy, and efficiency. Foreign countries may have advanced technologies that can avoid detection or scramble radar, which could be used for intelligence gathering or military vehicle testing. While it's unclear what the government is currently testing, advanced military drones have demonstrated the ability to hover for long periods or move in ways that might appear anomalous to observers. The U.S. does not have a monopoly on such technology, and it is very possible that other countries possess similar. Recently, the U.S. military declassified video footage showing a Russian Su-27 approaching the back of an MQ-9 Reaper drone and releasing fuel as it passes. According to the Pentagon, dumping the fuel appeared to be aimed at blinding the drone's optical instruments to drive it from the area. The drone war is currently underway, and ongoing military testing aims to develop the most advanced, efficient, secretive technology. This testing has been occurring for over 60 years and has resulted in the emergence of unidentified flying objects. While the military may be difficult to deceive, it is important to remember that most UFO sightings are reported by the ordinary citizen. In fact, it is relatively easy to convince people of UFO sightings, as demonstrated by the 2009 Morristown UFO hoax. The Morristown UFO hoax was a staged event by Joe Rudy and Chris Russo, who launched helium-filled balloons with flares attached into the sky on 3 different nights. They called it a social experiment on how to create your own media event surrounding UFO sightings, and it worked. The hoax made the news, and the resulting media attention led to their arrest for disorderly conduct. This proves that faking a UFO sighting is not only possible, but relatively easy, using simple tools such as balloons and lights. Many of these stories surrounding UAPs remain unresolved and are difficult to explain. The majority of UAP sightings documented in government data sets are still unidentified due to a lack of data or challenges in collecting or processing or analysis. Additional scientific knowledge may be necessary to properly collect, analyze, and classify all these sightings. However, simpler explanations may suffice, and the involvement of extraterrestrial life is in no way necessary. In fact, the assumption of alien involvement may be an oversimplified and juvenile interpretation of a far more pressing issue, the threat of war. In a world where multiple countries possess nuclear weapons pointed at each other, false information or misinterpretation of monitoring methods could lead to catastrophic consequences. Security protocols are the only safeguard against a nuclear war, but human judgment can be flawed. However, human judgment has also prevented nuclear war in the past, such as the Able Archer 83 exercise and the Petrov incident, where Soviet commanders correctly identified misinterpreted data. On the other hand, misinterpretation of data has also led to disastrous consequences. The Gulf of Tonkin incident in 1964 saw the U.S. destroyer Maddox attacked by North Vietnamese naval vessels, but later evidence suggested the radar signals were likely just waves and weather patterns. This misinterpretation led to the Gulf of Tonkin resolution that authorized U.S. military intervention in Vietnam. Similarly, in 1988, the U.S. Navy mistakenly shot down an Iranian passenger plane due to misinterpretation of radar data. This tragedy emphasized the need for proper identification procedures to prevent such incidents from happening again. Additionally, the U.S. and UK's reliance on flawed intelligence regarding weapons of mass destruction led to the invasion of Iraq in 2003, resulting in a military conflict that lasted for years and caused numerous casualties. These incidents underscore the importance of accurately interpreting data in decision-making, especially in matters of national security. Military intelligence organizations have a vested interest in investigating UFO sightings due to potential national security implications. The primary objective of these investigations is to determine whether sightings pose any threat to national security. Governments such as the U.S. have conducted such investigations in the past, with Project Blue Book being a well-known example. The concern regarding UFOs and UAPs is based on their abilities and intentions, as they could potentially be controlled by hostile foreign powers, leading to surveillance, reconnaissance, or even attacks. UAPs pose a significant concern from a military standpoint, as any unidentified flying object in restricted airspace is a real-world problem that must be investigated and resolved immediately. The inability to identify these objects also poses a risk in terms of public perception. It doesn't look great to our enemies if our top military is unable to identify objects flying around in our airspace. If UAPs can outmaneuver and outpace current military aircraft, they could pose a severe threat to national security. Thus, regardless of whether the pilots are seeing drones or something else, the problem is that they are seeing something that they are unable to identify, which could harm national security. If these objects can outmaneuver and outpace current military aircraft, they pose a severe threat to national security. An unidentified object in restricted airspace is a real-world problem that must be investigated and resolved immediately. The reported sightings of UFOs are often the result of technological glitches or misunderstandings by military personnel using advanced military technology not meant for public consumption. This secrecy is necessary to maintain security and the perception of technology superiority over adversaries. Knowledge of such technology could be used against us. The military would have a vested interest in keeping videos of their soldiers misunderstanding military technology and intelligence on the down low. Failing to adequately interpret military intelligence could render weapons useless or even dangerous, so it makes sense for the military to keep a tight lid on potential errors made by operators while using their equipment. Rather than being a warning of alien contact, reports of unidentified flying objects may actually be a cautionary tale of human-made dangers that could threaten humanity's future. Throughout history, humans have been the biggest threat to themselves due to involvement in war. The unidentified crafts may serve as warnings of existing dangers on Earth, which could potentially compromise national security by violating restricted airspace, conducting reconnaissance activities, and engaging in unauthorized military operation. These objects are difficult to track due to foreign enemies' advanced technology and the ability to evade detection, making them a challenge for conventional defense systems. As such, it is crucial to study and understand the capabilities and intentions of UFOs and UAPs, as they have the potential to cause physical harm or damage to critical infrastructures. For all these reasons, the United States government has expressed renewed interest in UFOs and UAPs, publicly acknowledging their potential military significance. In June 2021, the U.S. Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a report on UAPs stating that they clearly pose a safety of flight issue and may pose a challenge to U.S. national security. It is crucial to remember that the military does not prioritize truth-telling when it comes to top-secret weapons testing. The military's main objective is to maintain secrecy and avoid disclosing any information about the classified activities that could compromise national security or reveal military secrets. They prioritize secrecy over transparency and do not typically respond to inquiries that could potentially disclose information about top-secret military weapons testing. As humans, we naturally seek patterns and meaning in the world, even in the absence of evidence, a tendency that is reinforced by confirmation bias. However, recognizing and overcoming these tendencies through critical thinking can help us distinguish fact from fiction and make informed decisions based on evidence. Additionally, understanding the psychological and cultural factors that contribute to beliefs in these phenomena can help scientists develop more effective strategies for combating misinformation and communicating scientific information, leading to a more scientifically literate society. While reconciling personal beliefs and scientific explanations can be challenging, open dialogue that fosters critical thinking and objectivity while respecting personal belief can lead to a greater appreciation for science and its discoveries. When examining reports of UFO sightings, a scientific and skeptical approach is crucial, placing emphasis on empirical evidence and careful consideration of potential explanations. Most sightings of UFOs and flying saucers can be attributed to natural or human-made phenomena, and humans are prone to irrationality and misinterpretation of their experiences. It is crucial to treat these claims with caution and skepticism, subjecting them to rigorous examination before accepting them as reliable proof of contact with intelligent life from other planets. In conclusion, while some may continue to believe in UFOs as evidence of extraterrestrial life, others may view it as a reflection of human gullibility. Regardless, I hope the discussion has been somewhat interesting, even for those who hold different views. Now, as always, this is just my opinion, and I'm probably wrong. Thanks for watching. What the fuck?
Not again. How long was I gone this time? Too old for this. Need some coffee.
So I said, I don't think there are flying saucers. So my antagonist said, is it impossible that there are flying saucers? Can you prove that it's impossible? I said, no, I can't prove it's impossible. It's just very unlikely. That, they say, you are very unscientific. If you can't prove it impossible, then how can you say it's likely that it's unlikely? Well, that's the way, that is scientific. It is scientific only to say what's more likely and less likely, and not to be proving all the time possible and impossible. To define what I mean, I finally said to him, listen, I mean that from my knowledge of the world that I see around me, I think that it is much more likely that the reports of flying saucers are the results of the known irrational characteristics of terrestrial intelligence rather than the unknown rational efforts of extraterrestrial intelligence. It's just more likely, that's all. And it's a good guess. And we always try to guess the most likely explanation, keeping in the back of the mind the fact that if it doesn't work, then we must discuss the other possibilities.